Good day, fellow bettors. Thank you for joining me for another video for your English Premier League betting tips and predictions. Today, I will be sharing with you my predictions and tips on the match result, the correct scoreline prediction, and as well as the anytime goal scores. These are based upon availability, by the way. Some of the times, the anytime goal scores might not be available here on Betway. So in that case, I wouldn't give you my anytime goal scorers. I might just throw some names out there, but I wouldn't like give you the anytime goal scorers with the odds and all of that jazz. Yeah. Also, after I give you my correct scoreline prediction, then you can use that as well to figure out the expected number of goals for a particular game. Alright. Also, I will be sharing with you my betting tips on the handicap system. For this here game week, however, we have two games have been postponed as a result of cup final. Newcastle and Manchester United, they won't be playing in the Premiership this week, and as a result, Brentford and Brighton will be sitting out as well because those two teams would have been their respective opponents. Well, anyways, we'll start here on Friday for this here game week, and we end on Sunday. And so therefore we're just going to jump straight into it, and we're going to head straight into it here on Friday with Fulham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers got a setback this week. I tell you, the Premiership wasn't what I expected it to be. I think I might have gotten maybe about in terms of outright match results, I might have only gotten maybe about two correct. Number of surprises: Fulham won. Chelsea lost again. Yeah, it was terrible. Anyways, let's jump into this one. For Fulham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, I'm expecting this one to end in a draw here. Both teams to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 1-1 draw here. Anytime goal scorers. Looking at anytime goal scorers now for Fulham, we have Alexander Mitrovic. You have as well as William, and you have Bobby Reed. And you have João Palhinha, and you have Andreas Pereira. Those are the main guys for Fulham. Now for Wolverhampton Wanderers, you have to take in consideration also Daniel Podence, Mateus Cunha, as well as Raul Jimenez and Ruben Neves. Also Adama Traore, you can look out for him as well. But for me, my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer from Fulham, and I'm going to go with Alexandra Mitrovic. Hopefully he plays. He was out last week. He's suffering from a slight injury, but if he plays, I'm expecting him to score. Alright, so recap now for Fulham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm expecting a draw here at $3.20 if that should happen. In terms of the odds, I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of my correct score line, I am saying we should have a 1-1 draw here, and that's $6 in terms of the odds. My anytime goal scorer here will be Alexandra Mitrovic from Fulham. And that's it for Fulham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And now we're going to move on over to Everton United versus Aston Villa. And for Everton United versus Aston Villa, now this is going to be a very interesting one. Everton being at home here against Aston Villa. Both teams are fighting for it. Everton more so. But for this game, I'm going to say here, I'm expecting another draw here between Everton and Aston Villa, and I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of the correct scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 2-2 draw here. And in terms of my anytime goal scorers, I'm going to recap first for Everton. I don't think Calvert-Lewin will be available, so I won't involve him here. But Dwight McNeil and Alex Iwobi, as well as Tom Davies, depending on the amount of time you get to score for you as well. Alright, Demarai Gray is also somebody to have to take into consideration. And Neil Maupay, he can score too if he starts the game and gets enough opportunity. Not as clinical as you'd want him to be, but he can score for you. Alright. On the Aston Villa side of the football, you have Ollie Watkins, you have Coutinho, depending on the amount of time Coutinho gets. Leon Bailey, he didn't start the last game, but he's also a goal threat, as well as Emiliano Buendia. Alright, and so for me, the anytime goal scorer for me, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Ollie Watkins. from Aston Villa. He's been in good scoring form of late, and so I'll take him to score at any given point in this game. So recap now for Everton versus Aston Villa. I'm expecting a draw here at $3 there, and expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw here, and that's $13 in terms of the odds. And my anytime goal scorer to be here, Ollie Watkins, and that's $3.30 if he scores at any given point in this game. All right. So now we're going to move on over to the next game, and the next game will be Leeds versus Southampton. Southampton had a well-needed victory last week against Chelsea, a 1-0 victory, mind you, they were at home. And so Leeds are in a position that they need a victory too. And so therefore this is going to be a scruffle. And Leeds they usually score goals at home, but the thing is they tend not to keep them out. And so therefore this is going to be another interesting one. And I think the possibility of this ending a draw is a high one. And it could be a high scoring draw too. Alright, but for me I'm going to go with Leeds here. I think they're going to show the fighting spirit and they're going to end up coming out on top. So Leeds to win, both teams to score. In terms of a double chance, I'd go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm saying Leeds wins this one 2-1. On the handicap system, we go ahead and we'll take a draw as per my predicted scoreline. Alright, and so for my anytime goal scores, now I'm going to go through the scores for Leeds first. Possible scores, you have Patrick Bamford as well as Somerville, depends on the amount of time he gets. And also you have Wilfried Ganato, and also you have Jack Harrison. Alright, so on the Southampton side, you have James Ward-Prowse. Can't count him out. He's been in good scoring form of late, especially when it comes down to free kicks, as well as Shea Adams and also Mara and Aribo. Alright, and also Adam Armstrong. He's usually somebody who finishes whenever he gets the opportunity as well. Carlos Alcaraz is somewhat of a threat, but not as much as the other guys. Alright, so but for me, my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Wilfried Garnacho. I like how he's been playing off late, and I think he's a goal threat at any given point in this game, and he could score therefore. So recap for Leeds versus Southampton. I'm expecting Leeds to win this one here at $1.95. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 2-1 in favor of Leeds, I do believe, and that's $8.50. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take a draw here as per my predicted scoreline. And for my anytime goal score, I'm going to say Wilfried Garnacho at $3.80 to score at any given point in this game. All right. So let's move on to our next game, and the next game will be Leicester City versus Arsenal. And for Leicester City versus Arsenal, now Leicester City trying to find their way back, taking their little time, and I think Arsenal have to be very careful of them. It's now at the point of the season where it's like in the NFL where they have this thing that they refer to on the red zone as the witching hour. I guess you could say in the Premiership we're now entering the witching hour, and so therefore Arsenal has to be very careful because teams that were in perfect positions are now at the threat of being toppled over, and so therefore Arsenal have to be very, very wary of Leicester City here. And Leicester City tends to do a little bit better at home rather than away, but I'm going to go with Arsenal to win here, both teams to score. And in terms of a double chance, I go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Arsenal wins this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a draw here. Alright, I'm going to take a draw. Basis being Arsenal by a goal. Alright, for the anytime goal scorers now, we're just going to go to the anytime goal scorers for Leicester City. You have James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, as well as Kelechi Iheanacho and James Vardy. Jamie Vardy, depending on the amount of time Jamie gets. Jamie has not been getting a lot of time of lead on the pitch, so but you have to look out for him, as well as this new youngster here, Tete Matheus Martins. The Brazilian, you have to look out for him too. I like how he looks. He looks like he's going to provide a lot of goals for Leicester in the future, and also he gets his chances every now and again too, so he could score for you as well as Yuri Tillemans. And also on the Arsenal side of the football, you have to look out for Saka, as well as Nketiah and Odegaard, as well as Martinelli. And Emil Smith Rowe is back. He was a super sub last season, yet to get in the run of things, and so therefore he might not play this coming game. And if he does, he might not get enough time. But for me, my anytime goal scorer here, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Saka. And so therefore I'm going to take Bakayo Saka to be my anytime goal scorer here. So recap for Leicester City versus Arsenal. I'm expecting Arsenal to win at $1.66. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Arsenal, and that's $12 in terms of the odds. On the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take a draw, and basis being Arsenal win by a goal, that is. And in terms of my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Saka from Arsenal to score at any given point in this one, and that's $2.80 if he should do so. All right, so let's move to our next game, and our next game will be West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest. And for West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest, I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. Nottingham Forest, they're in a position now where they need to pick up some points, and they need to pick up as much points as they can. And if they do so, I think they might end up staying up. All right, so this one to end in a draw for me. Both teams to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have 2-all draw here. And in terms of the anytime goal scorers, just go to the anytime goal scorers for West Ham first. We have Danny Ings. He could score for you as well. Antonio is in awful form, and so therefore he could score as well. You can look out for him, as well as Saeed Benarama and also Gerard Bowen. You have to look out for him too. He could score for you as well as Thomas Souček, that guy who always seems to have a goal in him. You can look out for Thomas as well. And on the Nottingham side, Forest of the football, you have Brennan Johnson, you have Andre Ayew if he plays, and Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood is somebody that you really have to look out for. He's a good poacher, and I think he can score at any given point in most of these games. He did score last week, mind you. And so therefore, for me, my anytime goal scorer for this game, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer from West Ham, and I'm going to go with Danny Ings. And I say he opens up his account for West Ham this weekend. Alright, so recap for West Ham United versus Nottingham Forest. I'm expecting a draw here, and that's $3.40. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. And in terms of a correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw here, and that's $15 in terms of the odds. My anytime goal scorer to be Danny Ings from West Ham United, and that's $2.62 if he scores at any given point in this game. Now we're going to move on to our next game, and this game is going to be Bournemouth versus Manchester City. And for Bournemouth versus Manchester City, I'm expecting Manchester City to win here, and both teams not to score. In terms of double chance, I'd go with either to win and both not to score, and I'm going to say Manchester City wins this game 2-0. Alright, in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take Manchester City to win by a goal. Yep, there we go. Now let's go through the anytime goal scorers. And for Bournemouth, you have Kiefer Moore, you have Dominic Solanke, and you have Jadon Anthony, as well as Philip Billing, and also Jefferson Lerma. He could come and score for you as well. For Manchester City, you have Erwin Haaland, you have Julian Alvarez, you have Riyad Mahrez, as well as Kevin De Bruyne and Ilkay Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. Those are the guys that I'm looking forward to score at any point in this game. Alright, and so for me, I'm going to go and I'm going to take my anytime score here to be Julian Alvarez. And so therefore, I'm going to go with Julian Alvarez to score at any given point in this one. So let's just give you a quick recap here for Bournemouth versus Manchester City. I'm expecting Manchester City to win this one at $1.25. And in terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying no, that should not be the case. And a double chance that I'm going with is either team to win and both not to score. predicted scoreline for this game, I'm saying Manchester City wins this one 2-0 over Bournemouth, and that's $6.50. On the handicap system, I'm going ahead and taking Manchester City to win by a goal. And my anytime goal score in this game, I'm going to go with Julian Alvarez from Manchester City at $8.85. Alright, so those are my predictions for Bournemouth versus Manchester City. And now we're going to move on over to Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. And now this one should be another interesting cool matchup. Liverpool seems to be fine anyway. Some bad a little bit, yeah. Because Liverpool need to work, and they need to work really hard to find themselves in Champions League. Well, I don't think they're going to make the Champions League. It's very unfortunate. I think they could end up finding themselves playing Europa League, but that's not bad. That's a trophy as well, and it's better than winning nothing at all. After all, it should be the second biggest trophy in Europe. Remember, after the Champions League, then you have the Europa League, right? Then you have the league titles, yes? Alright, then so for Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, I am expecting here this one to be a victory for Liverpool, and I'm seeing both teams to score as well. Chances are, I think Crystal Palace might even score first in this one. So double chance, either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Liverpool wins this one 2-1. On the handicap system, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a draw as per my predicted scoreline. Alright, so now let's run through the anytime goal scores, and we're going to start with Crystal Palace. And you have Mateta as well as Eze and Michael Elise and Jordan Ayew, and also Jeffrey Schlupp. You have to look out for him. He can score as well. Also, we have here on the Liverpool side of football, you have Darwin Núñez. Roberto Firmino is back as well. You have Cody Gakpo. You have Diego Jota is also back as well. You have Mohamed Salah. He's there as well. So those guys are the main threats now in terms of scoring goals. And for me, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be here, Darwin Núñez from Liverpool. I expect him to score this week again. So Darwin to score. And so let's just go ahead and give you a quick recap here for Crystal Palace versus Liverpool United. I'm expecting Liverpool to win this one at $1.70. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. In terms of my correct scoreline prediction, I'm saying Liverpool wins this one 2-1 over Crystal Palace, and that's $8 in terms of the odds. On the handicap system, I'm going to go ahead and take a draw as per my predicted scoreline. And my anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm saying Darwin Núñez should score at any given point, and that's $2.40 currently if he does. Alright, so that's it for Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. And so let's go on to our final game for this year game week, and this game is going to be Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea. And now this I don't know if Chelsea had the previous one, as Mr. Potter wouldn't have been there up to this point. But Chelsea, they're in a woe. They are woeful, man. They don't, it seems as if they can't buy a goal. They have some good players, but the guys are not finishing. All right, so for this game, I'm expecting here. I'm going to take a draw here. To be honest with you, I think we're going to have a draw here. This one should end in a draw, and I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 12 draw. And my anytime goal scorers here now, I'm going to go through the anytime goal scorers first on the Tottenham side of the football first. And so we have Harry Kane, we have also Richarlison, Son Heung-min, Dejan Kulusevski, as well as Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. You have to look out for him. He has this tendency of scoring, so he's one that you have to look out for. For Chelsea now, we have Jean Felix, as well as Hakim Ziyech, Mason Mount, and also Raheem Sterling, if he plays, that is. He's have some injury issues, as well as Kai Havertz. But for me, my anytime goal scorer here, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Harry Kane. He's been in good scoring form, and Harry Kane at $2, I'm going to take in anytime. Alright, so recapping predictions here for Tottenham Hotspurs versus Chelsea. I am expecting a draw here between these two teams, and that's $3.20. In terms of both teams scoring, I'm saying yes, that should be the case. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying we should have a 2-all draw here, and that's $12 in terms of the odds if that should happen. And my anytime goal scorer is going to be Harry Kane at $2. Yeah, so those are my predictions for Tottenham Hotspur versus Chelsea. And these are all my predictions for this here game week for your English Premier League. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel and share the channel with your friends. And if you want to leave any comments, feel free to do so. You can leave them and I'll get back to you. And once again, I must thank you for joining me, and I wish you great luck betting and have a profitable weekend. Thank you.